The story opens up in a dense forest with a young boy named Mowgli running away from something along with a pack of wolves. In a desperate bid to escape, Mowgli climbs a tree to see safety from above. Unfortunately, his plan goes awry when he steps on a fragile branch and tumbles to the ground. At this moment, Bagheera, a wise panther who has cared for Mowgli since he was a baby, arrives there to check on him. He scolds Mowgli for his recklessness, stating that in a real hunt, he would have been captured or worse. He also emphasizes the importance of staying close to the wolf pack for safety. In the next scene, Bagheera accompanies Mowgli to the wolf pack, where he has been raised by his wolf parents, Akela and Raksha. Despite his strong connection with the wolves, Mowgli struggles to keep up with their growth and learning pace. Maybe it's because he's not a wolf. As the days pass by, the rainy season comes to an end and the forest rivers begin to dry up. This exposes a special rock, known as Peace Rock, which signals that the water sources are nearly exhausted. During this period, animals are not allowed to hunt near the riverbanks so that all the species can hydrate themselves peacefully. When Mowgli learns of this, he becomes excited and decides to head to the riverbank. Raksha tries to stop him, saying it is too dangerous, but he just won't listen. Later, while attempting to collect water like a human, Mowgli inadvertently frightens the other animals. Suddenly, Shere Khan, a menacing tiger, arrives at the scene, driven by his thirst for water. Despite the multitude of animals present there, Shere Khan detects the scent of a human and soon notices Mowgli hiding behind a rock. He then starts approaching our boy, but the wolves prepare to defend Mowgli at any cost. Seeing this, Shere Khan declares a truce to respect the water shortage and promises to return once the river returns, threatening anyone who stands in his way. After enduring more weeks of drought, the forest finally sees rain, prompting the wolf pack to make a difficult decision. Akela, the wolf pack leader, chooses to send Mowgli to live with his humans for his safety. Despite Raksha's initial resistance, Bagheera volunteers to accompany Mowgli on his journey. The rest of the pack also understands that he can only be safe from Shere Khan if he lives with humans. Along the way, Bagheera and Mowgli encounter a herd of elephants and show them great respect. Mowgli believes that they are the ones who created the forest. As they leave the jungle behind, they enter a vast, dry grassland filled with lots of buffalo. Just then, Bagheera senses danger and instructs Mowgli to lie low. His intuition turns out to be true as Shere Khan emerges from the tall grass, attempting to attack Mowgli. Bagheera swiftly intervenes, engaging in a fierce battle with the tiger. However, despite his bravery, he can't hold off Shere Khan for long and is eventually defeated. The ferocious Bengal tiger then turns his attention to Mowgli and almost catches him, but at the same time some buffalo cause a stampede, allowing the boy to escape. Witnessing his prey slipping away, Shere Khan returns to the wolf pack and approaches Akela, questioning why they haven't surrendered Mowgli. In reply, Akela explains that they've allowed Mowgli to live with the humans to avoid unnecessary conflict. Hearing this, Shere Khan becomes enraged and attacks Akela. The pack's leader is then swiftly grabbed by the neck and thrown from a cliff, leading to his death. After dealing with Akela, Shere Khan threatens the rest of the wolf pack, declaring that the jungle is now his territory, and he won't leave until they return Mowgli to him. Meanwhile, Mowgli, far away from this chaos, is riding on the back of a buffalo. "Woohoo," says Mowgli. He is completely unaware that his father is dead. It's not funny. Suddenly, he notices a landslide coming his way and jumps into a river. Somehow, he manages to cling to a log and floats for quite a distance until he reaches a safer area. Mowgli then starts searching for Bagheera, but comes across a gigantic snake's shed skin instead. Hungry and tired, he notices some fruit hanging from a tree branch. Using a piece of vine, he tries to reach the fruit, but he's surprised by a raccoon that distracts him, allowing their group to steal the food. Realizing he's been robbed, Mowgli chases the thieves up a tree, ready to pop a cap in that raccoon ass, only to get surrounded by a massive python named Kaa. Kaa claims to know Bagheera and slowly begins to hypnotize Mowgli with its eyes. At this moment, Mowgli remembers his past. When his father brought him into a cave to protect him from Shere Khan, he tried scaring the tiger away with fire, but was eventually caught and killed. Luckily, Bagheera came to Mowgli's rescue and took him to the wolf pack. Back to the present, just as Kaa is about to devour Mowgli, a bear appears and intervenes, knocking the snake away. During the process, Mowgli falls from a dangerous height and gets knocked out. The next morning, he wakes up in the cave of Baloo the bear, the same one who saved him. Baloo Baloo asks Mowgli if he can climb, and when the latter replies with a yes, he asks for his help in obtaining honey from a high mountain, which is guarded by countless bees. Reluctantly, Mowgli agrees to help Baloo, who explains that he needs the honey to survive the impending winter. Mowgli goes around the mountain, ties a vine to a tree, and lowers himself down to retrieve the honeycomb. He endures bee stings, but manages to get enough honey for Baloo. Afterward, Mowgli complains about the bee stings, but mentions that he must continue his journey to the human village before Shere Khan catches up with him. Hearing this, Baloo realizes that he's being pursued by a predator and decides to guide Mowgli through the jungle to reach the village. While on their way, Baloo claims to know Bagheera and assures Mowgli that he doesn't have to choose between being human or wolf. He also offers him to be his friend and live a carefree life. Convinced by Baloo's words, Mowgli decides to stay in the jungle, helping him collect more honey and improving his skills in the process. They spend their days crafting tools and perfecting their techniques for getting that honey. One day, while they're swimming in the river, Mowgli senses movement in the bushes and alerts Baloo. Out of nowhere, Bagheera emerges from the woods and scolds Mowgli before asking him to continue their journey to the humans. However, Baloo persuades him to wait until dawn so that they can spend some more time together. In the middle of the night, Mowgli hears the sound of elephants and goes to investigate. He discovers a baby elephant trapped in a crater and decides to help. Mowgli quickly gathers some vines and ties them to the young elephant, while the adult elephants help pull the calf to safety. This act earns Mowgli the friendship of these giant creatures, leaving Bagheera and Baloo in awe of his resourcefulness. Despite this, Bagheera remains steadfast in his belief that Mowgli should be taken to the human village, especially since Shere Khan is relentlessly pursuing him. Baloo, on the other hand, thinks that Akela, the wolf pack leader, can protect Mowgli. In response, Bagheera reveals that Akela has already been eliminated by Shere Khan. This shocks the giant bear, and he finally understands the gravity of the situation. So, with a heavy heart, Baloo himself approaches the boy and advises him to go to the human village for his safety. Mowgli expresses his desire to stay, but sadly the latter pretends that he doesn't care about him and only used him to get the honey. This hurtful lie prompts Mowgli to leave Baloo's territory with tears in his eyes. He then sits on a tree branch, pondering on what he should do next. While on the tree, Mowgli is approached by monkeys, who grab him and playfully toss him along the branches. Hearing his cries, Bagheera and Baloo chase after the monkeys and eventually reach the base of an extremely steep mountain. Mowgli is then brought to a deserted temple filled with fruit and human artifacts. As he explores, a gigantic orangutan hand emerges from the shadows, revealing itself to belong to King Louie. It's me, a monkey. Louie seems to know everything about Mowgli and claims that he can protect him from Shere Khan and other dangers in the jungle. But in return, he demands that Mowgli show him how to control the red flower, which humans possess. He is actually talking about fire. Frightened, Mowgli denies having knowledge of the flower and expresses his desire to leave. However, King Louie is convinced that Mowgli is hiding something, so he starts getting aggressive. Right then, Baloo arrives at the temple to distract King Louie, while Bagheera helps Mowgli sneak out of the place. As they are about to escape, one of the monkeys spots them and alerts King Louie, ensuing a deadly chase. Despite the overwhelming number of monkeys, Baloo and Bagheera order Mowgli to run ahead while they fend off the monkeys. However, King Louie is determined to capture the boy, so he blocks his escape. Now, with no way out, Mowgli pleads to be let go, promising that he will return to the wolf pack and seek Akela's protection. At this moment, King Louie reveals that Akela has been killed by Shere Khan. The revelation shocks our boy so much that he spirals out of control. He angrily climbs the temple steps, prompting King Louie to chase him. Mowgli then deliberately enters a fragile section of the temple, and when the colossal orangutan comes after him, the pillar collapses. Witnessing the destruction, Bagheera and Baloo rush to help Mowgli, only to find him safe at the top of a tree. However, the news of Akela's death has made him change his mind. He is now determined to reach the human village. When he finally reaches the place, Mowgli tries to approach the central bonfire to get the red flower, aka fire, but is frightened by its size. So instead, he grabs one of the torches and runs back to the jungle, while Baloo and Bagheera search for him. During his journey, Mowgli accidentally starts a forest fire by knocking over some embers from the torch. This movie is set in California. Unaware of what he's done, he continues until he reaches a gathering of animals by the river. There, Mowgli challenges Shere Khan to a fight, but the tiger taunts him, saying he is corrupting the forest with the red flower. To prove prove Shere Khan wrong, Mowgli tosses the torch into the water and assures everyone that he is one of them and not a human. With the torch now gone, Shere Khan mocks Mowgli and prepares to attack, but, to his dismay, other animals step in to defend our boy. Even though Shere Khan is outnumbered, he's fearless and takes on the pack of wolves. Baloo joins the fight but is easily defeated by the Bengal tiger. The wolves then engage in the battle to stop Shere Khan, while Bagheera advises Mowgli to fight like a human, using the terrain to his advantage. In the midst of the chaos, Mowgli flees towards the forest and Shere Khan pursues him. Bagheera also follows them closely behind. Soon, Bagheera catches up to Shere Khan and a fierce fight ensues between the two big cats. Despite delivering blows, Bagheera is overpowered and the wolves intervene to save him. Meanwhile, Mowgli reaches a burning part of the forest and, recalling Bagheera's teachings, he uses dead branches to create a weapon. He then sets up a makeshift swing and cleanses a tree. After a while, Shere Khan arrives at the scene. Mowgli tries to make him fall by luring him onto the weak branches, but the tiger climbs down to safer ones. Frustrated, Mowgli climbs higher, ties the vine to a branch, and creates a swing. At this moment, Shere Khan attempts to play mind games, explaining how he killed Akela. This momentarily distracts Mowgli, and using this opportunity, Shere Khan pounces on him. Luckily, Mowgli snaps out of his thoughts and uses the swing to escape. As Shere Khan is now on a weaker branch, it snaps and breaks, sending the tiger plummeting into the fire to his death. On the other hand, the injured animals are worried for Mowgli. They believe that the tiger has already killed him, but, to their surprise, Mowgli arrives there with the herd of elephants that he had helped previously. He then leads them to the riverbank and guides them to break down the dead trees to build a dam in the river. The plan works, and after the water is diverted towards the forest, the fire is put out in no time. Mowgli has now taken revenge for his father's death and has also become a hero among the animals. In the last scene, with her family reunited, Raksha declares herself as the new leader of the wolves, ensuring their safety. The movie then ends with Mowgli running along the forest, playing with the wolves and Baloo, who has started living near him.